everybody. Today I'm going to be showing you how I make my healthier version of a pumpkin muffin. So I start this out with some oats and I'm going to be grinding those up in the NutriBullet. I have 1 cup of those, so I'm going to go ahead and grind this up right back here. All right, so it just kind of looks like flour here. There's the consistency for you. And then I have 1 cup I'm gonna add to this right into the container. And this is the Bob's Red Mill version of their gluten-free baking flour. I like that one a lot, but you know, you could use, there's a lot of different brands out there, but I do like to keep things gluten-free if I can. So I've got the oats and the flour in here, and then I'm just gonna keep on adding the dry ingredients to this. So to the flour and oats mix, I'm gonna be doing about 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt. And then I'm gonna be adding in some cinnamon and some pumpkin pie spice. So I do 1 teaspoon of the cinnamon, and then I do 1/2 teaspoon of the pumpkin pie spice. So there's 1 teaspoon, and then just 1/2 teaspoon of the pumpkin pie spice. Pop that off. All right. And then I'm just gonna put this back on the NutriBullet. I'm gonna let that mix up together, and then I'll get started on the wetting. So moving right along, notice I put the dry ingredients into a bowl, and I'm using now the NutriBullet, the same container, to put the wet ingredients in. So I've got 1 cup of pumpkin, and that's just right from the can, so make sure you're not using pumpkin pie filling. This is just 1 can of pumpkin, or I'm sorry, 1 cup of pumpkin. And then I put in 1 teaspoon of vanilla. And then here I have 2 eggs that are already cracked that I'm gonna be putting into the mixture as well. So 2 large eggs. To that mixture, I have 1/3 of a cup of honey. So I'm gonna add that right to it. My honey is kind of solidified a little bit, so I'm gonna use a spoon to help me scoop that out. A good trick whenever you're using honey in your measuring cups is I like to spray my measuring cups with some avocado oil or something like that so that it doesn't stick to the sides. So I've got my honey in, that's 1/3 of a cup. And then to that mixture, I'm gonna be adding about 1/2 cup or so of almond milk, and this is unsweetened almond milk. And then I'm also gonna be adding in some non-dairy yogurt, about 1/4 of a cup, and I use unsweetened. That's kind of up to you, whatever you have on hand, but I'm using non-dairy. This one I believe is coconut milk one, but there's all different types. There's a cashew yogurt that you could get, or there's the almond kind, but this one I like. And then I'm gonna go ahead and pop the lid on and mix this one up. All right, love using the NutriBullet, makes it so much simpler. Okay, so I've got my wet ingredients, and I'm just gonna add these right into the dry ingredients. A little at a time here, and I'm just gonna start to stir this up. Okay, I forgot a step and I just added it in. So this is an important one, baking soda. I put in 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and normally I would put that in, ideally, that should go in with the dry ingredients, but you know, I'm new at this, I'm an amateur, so you wanna put that in with the dry ingredients and then mix in the wet ingredients. But I went ahead and just put it in as an afterthought, it'll be okay. So to that, I added the chocolate chips. So I did 1/2 cup of dark mini chocolate chips. So I put those in, and now it's time for them to go into the muffin pan. So I have a muffin pan here. I'm gonna spray it with some oil and then into a 350-degree oven for about 18 to 20 minutes. So I just put them in the middle rack of a 350-degree oven. Okay, so here they are. Out of the oven for about 5 minutes or so. These actually, I think I left them in for 18 minutes, and they're pretty much perfect. Came right out of the pan, so enjoy.